So, hello, welcome. Um, our numbers are dwindling.
Today is the day after was it Labor Day or Memorial Day? Whichever one.
Labor Day.
Yeah. That could be part of the
Huh? No.
And His
It
Holiness. Oh, go ahead.
that is something. Yes.
Okay.
So, and I know also I think Shanti is in Kopan right now, and they're doing the Light of the Path. I think it started. So we're just going to assume, yeah, in a good
The
way.
land of medicine Buddha has visit from Sirkong Rinpoche.
Oh, today?
So I think for this week, I think that's
Ooh.
also why.
Okay. Then good. Then what are you doing here? We should cancel the session. I'm joking. So we're going to assume that, the other students are doing these other Dharma, wonderful Dharma activities with, teachers much more qualified than myself. So, good. All right. Well, so let us start in the usual way. Oh, no, not this. Let's start in the usual way with a few preliminary prayers. Again, hold on. Okay, as we're doing that, we adjust our motivation briefly, thinking that the purpose of my life is to benefit all sentient beings, and in particular, in order to benefit sentient beings in the best way, I myself must achieve the state of enlightenment. Then and only then will I have all the skills, qualities, and abilities to guide sentient beings from the oceans of samsaric suffering to the state of enlightenment in the most effective way. And therefore, I'm going to participate in this Dharma teaching and meditation here today. Then, visualizing the Buddha in the space in front, visualizing all sentient beings in the space around us, and thinking that we're leading all sentient beings in these prayers and practices, then we, through recalling the good qualities of the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, then we make these prayers. Guru, teacher, Bhagavan, Tathagata, Arhat, perfectly complete Buddha, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct. Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of beings to be subdued, teacher of gods and humans. To you, Buddha Bhagavan, glorious conqueror Shakyamuni, I prostrate and make offerings and go for refuge. Guru, teacher of Bhagavan, Tathagata, Arhat, perfectly complete Buddha, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of beings to be subdued, teacher of gods and humans. To you, Buddha Bhagavan, glorious conqueror Shakyamuni, I prostrate and make offerings and go for refuge. Guru, teacher of Bhagavan, Tathagata, Arhat, perfectly complete Buddha, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of beings to be subdued, teacher of gods and humans. To you, Buddha Bhagavan, glorious conqueror Shakyamuni, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When supreme amongst humans, you were born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you who are wise, then I prostrate. With pure bodies, form supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in 3 worlds, whenever the best. Savior, to you I prostrate. With supreme signs, face like a spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Dust free like you, the 3 worlds are not. Incomparably wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the teacher having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you, the one gone to thusness, I prostrate. The purity that frees from one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from lower realms, the one path, sublime pure reality, to the Dharma that pacifies, that prostrate. Those who are liberated and who also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with the realization, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you, the sublime community, intending virtue, I prostrate. Do not commit any unwholesome actions. Engage in perfect wholesome actions. Subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a defective view, a butter lamp flame, an illusion, a dewdrop, a water bubble, a dream, lightning, a cloud. See all causative phenomena like this. By these merits may transmigratory beings attain the state of all-seeing, subdue the enemy of faults, and be freed from the ocean of samsara, disturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. The indescribable, inconceivable, inexpressible perfection of wisdom, unproduced, unceasing, the nature of space, the object of the uniquely knowing transcendental wisdom, to the mother of the victorious ones of the three times I prostrate. Tayata om dare dare bendare soha, 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 tayata om dare dare bendare soha. If it's 8, it's okay. 7 is also okay. I prostrate to the three noble rare sublime ones. Let's set it here at one time. The Bhagavan was dwelling on Master Vulture's mountain in Rajgiriya, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Bhagavan was absorbed in concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound perception. Also, at that time, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravalokteshvara looked upon the very practices of the profound perfection of wisdom and beheld those 5 aggregates also as empty inherent nature. And then, through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravalokteshvara: how should any son of lineage train who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom? He said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravalokteshvara said this to the Venerable Sharidavati Putra: Shariputra, any son of lineage or daughter of lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly beholding those 5 aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Form is empty, emptiness is form, emptiness is not other than form. Form is also not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are emptiness, without characteristic, unproduced, unceased, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore in emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no odor, no taste, no object of touch, and no phenomena. There is no I element, and so on, up to and including no mind element, and no mental consciousness element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, up and so on, up to and including no aging and death, and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation, and path. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in the perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscuration and without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the endpoint of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in 3 times also manifestly, completely awaken to unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequaled, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, should be known as truth, since it is not false. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is declared: Tayata gate gate parasam gate bodhi swaha. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, should train the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Then the Bhagavan arose from that concentration and commended the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravalokteshvara, saying, well said, son of lineage, it is like that. It is like that. One should practice the profound perfection of wisdom, just as you have indicated. Even the Tathagatas rejoice. The Bhagavan having thus spoken, the Venerable Sharidavati Putra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravalokteshvara, and those surrounding in their entirety, along with the world of gods, humans, asuras, and Gandhavas, were overjoyed and highly praised that spoken by the Bhagavan. I and all surrounding sentient beings take refuge in the Buddha, take refuge in the Dharma, take refuge in the Sangha. We prostrate to the Great Mother Prajnaparamita, surrounded by her children, the assemblies of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions. In dependence on my prostrations to all of you, may these words of truth be actualized. In the past, the Deva King Indra dispelled the Marans by reflecting on the profound meaning of the wisdom gone beyond and reciting profound words in daily recitation. In that same way, I also reflect on the profound meaning of the Great Mother Prajnaparamita and recite the profound words in daily recitation. May all diseases, spirit possessions, bad conditions, all negative directions, that which happens due to past karma and immediate conditions be dispelled. May they become non-existent. May they be pacified. From the holy supreme realm of Kichara, you who possess powers of clairvoyance and magical emanation, look after practitioners, like a mother looks after her children. To the host of the Dakinis of the three abodes, I prostrate. Aka Samarasa Shasarara Samarape Aka Samara Shasara Samarape Aka. Kayata Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisoha. By the teaching of the three noble rare sublime ones possessing the power of truth, may hindrances be averted, may they be eliminated, may they be pacified. May all enemies and negative forces opposed to Dharma, Shintum Kuriye Soha. May the host of 80,000 obstacles be pacified. May we be free from harmful conditions to Dharma. May all excellences be in accord with Dharma. And may there be auspiciousness and perfect happiness here right now. Okay. So, sorry. Okay. You with me? PowerPoint? Okay. So this time, actually, lecture 4, we've covered the bullet points on the topics to be covered. But what I said last time is that we would go into the Nune Sadhana, because it gives a very good sort of practical application of tantric practice. And that's the point, to practice, not just to go into the theory, right? So before we do that, just another nice quotation from Geshe Potowa. So to top up our motivation, please think, for as long as we have wandered through cyclic existence in the past, it has not stopped by itself. Given this, it will not stop by itself now either. Hence, we must put a stop to it. And the time to do so is today, when we have obtained leisure and opportunity. So again, it's very, very important every day to sort of exhort ourselves to make best use of our lives, of our time, of our precious human rebirth, right? And so, of course, here Geshe Poto was talking about just gaining mere liberation from samsara. And so even more so, as we think that we're doing our practice for all sentient beings, that we have to make even more effort and try to make best use of our precious opportunity that we have. Okay. So before we get into the Nune Sadhana, right, when we recall, and I was trying to find, okay, here we go. Okay, remember? Back to the basics, okay? When we think about our what we're trying to do here in this module. Okay. Learn the definition of Tantra, how Tantra works, why is it a powerful form of practice, get a broad overview of the 4 classes of Tantra, and learn how to practice simple Kriya Tantric methods. So that's what we're doing, the Nune sadhana. Okay. Now, when we talked about the difference between Sutra and Tantra here, do you remember? What's the quintessential difference Tsongkhapa described in his Great Stages of Tantra? Deity yoga. Deity yoga. Okay. So we went into this a little bit last week. I don't want to go over it, so much this week, but it's very interesting. And later, if you ever do study that text, Lama Tsongkhapa, he talks about different views that previous scholars had thought. He refutes all of them, and then his sort of a little bit unique statement about how to differentiate between Sutra and Tantra is deity yoga, right? And so then that becomes the sort of uncommon path of Tantra, and that's what's going to enable us to make the quick progress along the path to enlightenment, right? So we said the essence of that, right, and why we call Tantra the resultant vehicle, right? The resultant vehicle, the resultant Vajra vehicle, is because we're bringing in the result into the path. And we talk about the four purities that we do in deity yoga, okay? But we're going to get into that in a little bit. But what I wanted to talk about first is now the sort of practical application. I had asked you all to read this Intro to Tantra by Lama Yeshe, and all of you have done that. So Lama Yeshe, in his skillful means, is talking a lot about the kind of the psychology with which we practice Tantra. And so I'm gonna have my own take at that. And I read something. Okay. They did an experiment where people were split into three groups, and they cite this a lot in like sports psychology. So people, one group, they practice free throws, in basketball. Okay. The other group, they didn't actually shoot the hoops or whatever, but they just imagined making free throws. Okay. And then they had the control group. Okay. Now, what do they find? The people who didn't practice, of course, they didn't get better. But the people who did the actual shots, they got better. The people who merely visualized, their uptick in performance was only 1% lower than the people who actually made. Do you understand? What does it show? Merely practicing it in the realm of imagination produced as much results as doing it in so-called real life. Okay? Doing it in so-called real life. So this comes up again and again. I mean, even in the so-called sutra system, right? We're not generating ourselves as a deity, but we had this story. Rinpoche is very fond of sharing about Emperor Ashoka in his past life. Okay, so you guys know Emperor Ashoka? Okay. Great Indian king who is very famous now You'll see in many archaeological sites, they have the so-called Ashoka pillar. Okay. And on top of that is 4 lions. And that is kind of the seal of India now. And you even see that on the money. I don't have any Indian money on me now, but you'll see that, the Ashokan pillar with these 4 lions. So anyway, Emperor Ashoka, great and powerful king. And yeah, was very influential in then spreading Buddhism throughout the world. It is his own daughter who became a fully ordained nun and was instrumental in spreading Buddhism to Sri Lanka. And actually, it was her who took a cutting of the Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya and took that to Sri Lanka. And now when you go to Sri Lanka, you'll see Anuradhapura is the place where they have this descendant or this cutting from the Bodhi tree, where the Buddha was enlightened, over 2,500 years ago. In any case, Emperor Ashoka was, very powerful king, and then it is said the karmic causes by which he was able to do that is because in one of his past lives, he was a boy, and he was born in the time very, very, very poor. But the Buddha was walking by, and he was very imbued with faith arising naturally and wanted to make us an offering to the Buddha. So he was actually playing in the fields with 2 of his friends. And the Buddha was very tall. So he had his friends kind of like cheerleaders do, like making a human kind of ladder or like platform. So his 2 friends were like that. He climbed on top of them, took a handful of dirt, but imagined it to be gold dust, and then dropped this in the Buddha's begging bowl. Okay. So it is said because of that, he was able to become this great and powerful king. Many of you know there's this verse, right? May human and divine offerings, actually arranged and mentally emanated, become clouds of finest Samantavajra offerings, filling the entire space. Yeah, that's from Shantideva. That verse actually is from Shantideva. But actually arranged and mentally emanated. So it is said that whether one makes the offering actual, so here, the person who's in charge of water bowls hasn't done his job yet. That's okay. It's early here in India still, don't worry. But whether it's mentally emanated, so just visualizing water bowls or actually having made the water bowls, one attains the same amount of merit. And this is, very, very important, the psychology, right? Because as Shantideva also says in the practice of generosity, it's not so much giving, right? Not so much giving, but lessening our clinging attachment. Means improving our willingness to give, right? So this thought of the young boy, oh, hey, I want to give gold dust. Wouldn't it be awesome? He didn't use that word, probably. I'm talking to people in California. Wouldn't it be, totally radical to give, to give gold dust to the Buddha, right? Sorry, my slang is from the 1980s, so right. wouldn't it be amazing if I could give gold dust to the Buddha, right? And by that, it's the thought, right? We say in giving, right? It's the thought that counts, right? Your mother tell you that? It's the thought that counts. So this thought, I want to, give the best, right? Even though I don't have it now, that's what I'm doing. It's a very powerful psychological transformation that takes place. And that's the one that's needed, right? That's the one that's the forerunner to everything. Okay. Because if we don't have that thought, even though we might have, all sorts of gold bars, filling Fort Knox, if we never have the thought, I want to give that away to someone, it won't be much benefit. Right? So this is the important psychology. We are going to be imagining and visualizing ourselves as the Buddha that we will become. Okay? We're going to be just like, imagining taking those basketball free throws is going to help us, make more shots. Then by imagining that we're benefiting sentient beings, by imagining ourselves in this pure form with a pure mind, that's also going to help ourselves become pure. Okay. So now, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Lama Zopa Rinpoche, Lama Yeshe, all the masters are saying, okay, now when we talk about deity yoga, it's not just this kind of, I'm now a Buddha, right? Oh, I'm now Avalokiteshvara, right? Because, well, that's not true. Okay. So it's very tricky to get to this middle view. Okay. This middle view where we're not like inflating our sense of self, because that would be a wrong view, right? To think I am actually the Buddha now, that's not true. Okay. So in the practice of Tantra, okay, what happens first? In every sadhana at the beginning, there's a mantra that comes, Om Sabhava Shuddha Sava Dhamma Sabhava Shuddho Ham, which, to do a translation off the fly, the nature of all phenomena are purity, is purity. I am that pure nature. Something like this. So here, this is the mantra we recite as we dissolve everything into emptiness. We talked about, 2 weeks ago, how the necessary foundation for practicing Tantra is the 3 principal aspects of the path, right? Renunciation of samsara, bodhicitta, and emptiness, the correct view of emptiness. So at the beginning of the actual practice of deity yoga, we dissolve all the conventional phenomena into emptiness. What does that mean, practically speaking? Because here again, okay, I'll speak for myself. I don't have realization of emptiness, especially not the direct realization of emptiness. Okay. So the actual practitioner would meditate on their previous realization. Okay. Now, we recited in every session during this module the Heart Sutra, and actually, the Heart Sutra basically is describing the progressively deeper and more profound view of emptiness as one progresses along the path to enlightenment. Okay. So when they say, in emptiness, there's no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no causes, no factors, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, right? What that's saying, in Arya Bodhisattva's meditative equipoise, single point of meditative equipoise on emptiness, all of these conventional phenomena do not appear. Okay? In emptiness means in the Arya Bodhisattva's meditative equipoise on emptiness, there's no conventional phenomena. Do we need to review why this is the case? It's good to, okay? When we are trying to realize emptiness, right? So you might have heard this, right? Emptiness is what they call non-affirming negation. Have you heard that terminology? Non-affirming negation? Yes? Okay. Two people have their cameras off. I can't see them nodding. So I'll just review it very quickly. Okay. The non-affirming negation. Yes? Okay. So there's different kinds of negation words, right? We can say, the very famous one in the traditional Indian text is Brahmins don't drink beer. Brahmins don't drink beer. Okay. When we say that, what are we doing? We're negating that Brahmins drink beer. But are we making any kind of implication what they do drink? No. Do they drink macchiato or matcha tea or Coca-Cola? No. We're just saying they don't do something. So that's a non-affirming negation. Okay. We negate something, but don't imply or affirm anything in its place. Okay? You understand? All right. There's other kinds of affirming negations when we say, again, this is the famous example from the Indian text, Devadatta, the Buddha's cousin, right? Devadatta does not, obese or corpulent Devadatta does not eat during the day. Okay. So what have we refuted? That Devadatta eats during the day. But since we say he's obese, we are implying he eats at night. Okay. Anyway, I don't want to get into the intricacies of that, but the point is, emptiness is a non-affirming negation. It's refuting what? Inherent existence. Okay. So in the actual realization of emptiness, what we're trying to do, we're trying to refute inherent existence. So what we do is we try to search for inherent existence. Okay. There's a statement in Sutra that not seeing is the best seeing. Not seeing is the best seeing. Means we get an idea, right? And this is why, they always say in the first step of meditating on emptiness, what's the first step? Identifying the object of negation. Have you heard that? Identifying the object of negation. It's like, when you go to the post office. Do people do this anymore? They have the wanted posters, right? America's Most Wanted. They have the picture of the criminal. So in case they're behind you in line trying to mail a package to Aunt Ginny, then you'll say, hey, and get the reward. So identifying the object of negation is, you come to understand, you must understand what inherent existence is And then you search for it. And then, okay, we're going to create a way by which, okay, for example, if someone is looking for me in this I Am My House, okay, I live at I Am My House in South India. Everyone's welcome to come visit one day. I could be either in the rooms or outside the rooms. Let's just make it very simple, right? So then if you look for me, look in all the doors, see I'm not in, and then you look in the kind of garden around and you don't find me, then what can you conclude? Namjong's not here. Okay. So in the similar way, we get an idea of inherent existence, what that would mean, what that is. Then we look for it. And then if we look for it in, door number 1, okay, let's say we only have 2 doors. If we look for it in door number 1, don't find it. We look for it in door number 2, don't find it. Then we can decide, we can determine inherent existence doesn't exist. The lack of inherent existence is what we mean by emptiness. Okay. So when the Bodhisattva, when we hopefully soon realizes emptiness, they just realize this lack of inherent existence. But non-affirming negation means doesn't imply what actually is there, right? So things exist, yes. They don't exist in this inherent way, right? But just the discovery that they don't exist inherently doesn't actually tell us how they exist in actuality. Okay. But the yogi who is trying to discover that non-existence, they do so in searching for it. Not seeing means not finding is the best finding. Not seeing is the best seeing. So at the end of that process of analysis, when they don't find it, it's like this. If I were here in the house, and I am, you'll find me in one of the rooms, right? The fact that after your search, you don't find me in any of the rooms, you don't find me outside, then you can determine he's not there. Okay? So if inherent existence existed, the process of reasoning and analysis that the yogi is undertaking, they would find inherent existence. Because they don't find it, they can then make that determination it doesn't exist. You understand? So, because then they don't find inherent existence, they actually are not finding any conventional phenomena. Therefore, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no taste, no object of touch. Boom. All that. So, sorry, I got a bit excited. What was the context of all this? The context was why at the beginning of our sadhana, there's the reflection on emptiness. Om sabhava shuddha sabadama sabhava shuddho ham. The nature of all phenomena is pure. So pure from what? Pure from inherent existence. Means free from. Means it doesn't inherently exist. And this is why, Nagarjuna is saying, for, those for whom emptiness is feasible, everything is feasible. Those for whom emptiness is not feasible, then nothing is feasible. You heard that before? What that means, you see, if things were inherently existent, means independent existence, independent from all other phenomena, that would mean things are very static, cannot change. Okay. Why? That would mean the tree is independent from a seed. That means you could have seeds. Oh, sorry. You could have trees without seeds if they're truly independent, right? You get that? So, like for example, it's been a long morning. So my coffee is already empty. I right before this session, I did another session for Tupten Norbuling in Santa Fe. So I had my coffee, and now I'm on my matcha. So, but they're independent from each other. Okay, means I could, someone could take my cup away, and I can still have this, right? So logically independent from each other means one can exist without the other. So if things were inherently existent, that would mean that trees could come into being without seeds, but that's not the case. That's why dependent arising, everything that arises from causes and conditions is dependent on those causes and conditions. Okay, so the flip side of that is our samsara is also arisen due to causes and conditions. Our suffering arises due to causes and conditions. Our ignorance arises due to causes and conditions. So if phenomena were inherently existent, then, liberation would be impossible. In any case, those for whom emptiness is feasible, everything is feasible. Those for whom emptiness is not feasible, nothing is feasible. So phenomena are not inherently existent. That means they're sort of fundamentally pure, free from that. And the emptiness of all phenomena, is the same as my emptiness, in the sense that, when we talk about the emptiness of the cup, it's the cup's lack of inherent existence. My own emptiness, it's the lack of my inherent existence. I'm not inherently existent. You understand? So that object of negation is the same for all phenomena. The object of negation is inherent existence. So then we get into this mantra should remind us, we should reflect on this, that all phenomena are empty of inherent existence. At that time, it's very useful also to then use, just, pause and use the reasoning, right, that we've studied in other contexts, right? The four essentials. Or dependent arising, or whatever kind of, whatever your favorite reasoning to establish emptiness is, we reflect on that. But here again, we might even know some of those reasonings, but we don't realize it. So again, is it just the kind of fooling ourselves? So here, I got some good advice that one of my gurus said, and he said, he said that His Holiness described like this. And I have to take his word for it, because in my teachings that I received from His Holiness, I don't remember him saying this directly. Maybe he's actually saying this right now. But in any case, this point I was making in the Bodhisattva's meditative equipoise on emptiness, there is no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, means no conventional phenomena, right? That means everything that we see, everything that we feel, everything that we think, everything that we smell, those are all conventional phenomena, right? So we talk about everything dissolving into emptiness. For us, since we're not an Arya Bodhisattva, we're not going to get the real dissolution of all phenomena. But what we can do at our level is just then kind of remind ourselves, things don't exist in the way they appear. So, in the emptiness teachings, there's all this talk about mirage, illusion, magicians, trick. Sorry, just my camera. So the import of that is, although phenomena appear in one way, they don't exist in the way they appear. Now, in the practice of Tantra, the advice I got was then to consider, you see, the way that things appear now. So some of you might have heard in the Prasangika Majjhimika tenet system, right? If you've studied tenets before, what do they say? All sense consciousnesses in a sentient being are mistaken. What does that mean? Mistaken. Huh? Does that mean the table, the chair, my matcha tea don't exist? No. It's mistaken in the sense that the way it appears isn't the way it exists. Okay. We have a mistaken consciousness. Mistaken. Now, those of you who have studied Logic before, this will make sense to you. Those of you who haven't, I'm sorry. But we have what's called the appearing object, what appears to the mind, and then we have what's called the kind of jukyu, or the engaged object. Okay. So these sense consciousnesses are mistaken with respect to their appearing object. Means the way the things are appearing is not how they actually exist. And that's why it's like an illusion, a mirage. So, how things are appearing to us, we have the cup is appearing as if it were inherently existent. Now, is an inherently existent cup appearing? This gets into some semantics, right? Inherently existent cup doesn't exist. The existent cup appears inherently existent. But what we can do for our sense, right? In the sadhana text, they always say, Om Sabhava Shuddha Savadama Sabhava Shuddho Ham Tongpa Ni Du Gyur in Tibetan means everything becomes empty. Everything becomes empty means at that point, we should, from the standpoint of our meditation, think these conventional phenomena don't exist. From the standpoint of the meditation, because at this point, we're trying to replicate that Arya being's meditative equipoise on emptiness. When they're in meditative equipoise on emptiness, no phenomena are appearing. It's like space, just blank space. Okay. So Lama Yeshe was very, very, very nice. He's saying, and this is good for all of us to keep in mind. He's saying, like, look, this is not the time to be very. We have to just loosen a little bit. The like philosophically, what's going on, you could maybe find fault, but Lama Yeshe is very big on, we have to have some kind of experience of this, right? We have to have the experience. It's not about just the words on the page, right? So if we try to pick fault philosophically, maybe, but the experience is that we should think all this stuff that's appearing doesn't exist. Now, some of you might be, wait a minute, whoa. We're losing the conventional reality, right? We're falling into nihilism. Okay. Now, in general, that is a big risk, and that is something that we should watch out for. But my opinion is, since we are so habituated to the grasping to true existence, right? There's actually very little risk of fall into nihilism. Very little risk. Now, later in your practice, if you do come to entertain a thought of real full-fledged nihilism, we can talk about it. And I'll remind you, no, you exist, don't worry. But for the experience of the meditation, we should try like this. These things, these conventional phenomena don't exist, and see what happens. Right. Lama Zopa Rinpoche is very, fond of talking about how we need to kind of push through the fear. And if in meditating on emptiness, there is a fear that arises that, oh, wait, I don't exist, that's actually good. Because that means that our meditation is kind of affecting, it's touching the ignorance, right? It's getting close. So in any case, Om Sabhava Shuddha Savadama Sabhava Shuddho Ham, meditate on emptiness, using the reasoning, and then you just have this sense that all these kind of conventional phenomena don't exist whatsoever. Then, in Tibetan, Tompe Ngang Le. Okay. So then it's like from the state of emptiness, then everything is kind of coming out of that. The mandala of the deity, the celestial mansion, you, right? Okay. So the different, we talked about 4 levels of Tantra, right? So they'll have a bit of difference in how then from the state of emptiness, then the world is created, right? They'll have some difference. But all of them have that essential first step, dissolving the conventional phenomena into emptiness. So because of that, right, this is what enables us to not be inflated. Because it's not just, oh, I'm now Avalokiteshvara, but there's the kind of stopping of the conventional view, the conventional reality. At that point, that mind meditating on emptiness in the form of imagination first, but we identify with that one. And then, well, you know how I was saying we're purifying the ordinary stages of birth, death, and bardo. Birth, death, bardo, right? Bardo, intermediate state after death, right? We go into the bardo, and then we take rebirth. So I was saying how the practice is mirroring this, but purifying those stages. So no longer ordinary death, no longer ordinary bardo, no longer ordinary birth, but manifesting, Dharmakaya, the enlightened mind of the Buddha, manifesting in the Sambhogakaya, the enjoyment body of the Buddha, and then manifesting as the Nirmanakaya, the emanation body of the Buddha. So in any case, that first step, dissolve all impure appearances into emptiness and think that mind is realizing the lack of inherent existence of all phenomena, and identifying with that mind as being the enlightened mind that we'll achieve in the future. And then that enlightened mind then, out of a wish to benefit all sentient beings, then manifests in a more gross way, in a form that sentient beings can interact with, right? Because just the mind of the Buddha, right? We can't see. We don't have clairvoyance, right? And that's why the Buddhas then have to manifest in these various forms that we can see and interact with and receive teachings from. Okay, so that's what we're doing in a nutshell. We're not just saying, okay, now I'm enlightened, but we dissolve impure appearances and dissolving this identification of ourselves being this impure one. And then from the state, we in the form of imagination, connect with our resultant enlightened mind, and then more gross forms. Then when we get there in the full form of the deity, we have those four purities that we talked about: the pure body, our form, our pure activities benefiting sentient beings, pure resources of having the crown and the celestial mansion, and pure abode, the entire realm is the pure land of the Buddha. Okay, but you understand? That's the essential point, and that's what makes it not a wrong view. What we're doing instead, we are just identifying ourselves with a different basis of designation. That's some terminology. You guys understand basis of designation? It comes up in the emptiness teachings. So instead of identifying with these impure aggregates, we identify with the Buddha that we will become. Okay? All right. So with that, we have one more hour, right? Muzzle. Okay, good. Okay. So can you see this? I'll blow it up a little bit. So let's go to the beginning. The Nungne, okay. 11 face great compassionate one. That means Avalokiteshvara. Okay. So I wanted to jump into this the self-generation. I mean, of course, the other things are good, but we were saying how deity yoga is the lifeblood of Vajrayana practice. So I wanted to get into it. Okay. So many of you know, but this practice of Avalokiteshvara is found in the Kriya Tantra class. And in the Kriya Tantra class, this kind of self-generation is done through these 6 deities. Okay. So you have the ultimate deity, deity of sound, deity of syllables, deity of form. How do they translate it? Deity of mudra and deity of sign. Okay. All right. Okay. You should know, right? And some of you who've done High Yoga Tantra, this is High Yoga Tantra. They do taking the 3 bodies into the path. Okay, we touched on that before. Here it's self-generation done through the 6 deities. Okay. So, ultimate deity, this is what we just were describing. Om Sabhava Shuddha Savadama Sabhava Shuddhaham. The natures of myself, the deity, to be meditated upon, and all phenomena are in essence of one taste and emptiness. Okay, so here, one taste and emptiness. That was what we were describing. All phenomena lacking inherent existence. Okay. Since that object of negation is the same for all phenomena, they are all one taste and emptiness. Okay. All right. So, you'll see this this statement, like water being mixed into milk. Yeah, have you seen that? You'll see this analogy in certain traditional texts. Okay. So if you have milk and you pour water in it, it becomes undifferentiated, right? It just becomes mixed. So you'll see this one taste and emptiness, this kind of understanding of your own emptiness and the emptiness of the deity being like that. Water mixed into milk. Okay. So, but practically speaking, for us, we use this time to first meditate on emptiness, just in general. And then there's that recognition, okay, that my own emptiness is the same as the emptiness of the deity and all phenomena, right? Now, that is the ultimate deity. Okay. The ultimate deity. Okay. So one point that's brought up in the texts here also. So strictly speaking, when we're talking about non-affirming negation, okay. So emptiness is non-affirming negation, but this thought that my nature and the nature of the deity are one, that's not a non-affirming negation anymore, right? That's actually that's not even negation. That's a positive phenomenon. The emptiness of myself and the emptiness of the deity are the same. Or maybe that's an affirming negation, because you still are negating inherent existence, but you're saying that these two are the same. So either way, this is one difference in the meditation on emptiness between Sutra and Tantra. Okay. All right. So next we have the sound deity. Okay. So remember, ultimate deity, in terms of like the appearance, there's no appearance of conventional phenomena. You're just there in that kind of sphere of emptiness, right? That's why they say this, from the sphere of emptiness. Okay. Now what you're going to do is, remember, enlightened mind of the Buddha only can't interact with other beings. So what do we have to do to help them? We have to manifest in a form that they can interact with, right? So here it's going through a few more stages. So first is the deity of sound. Okay. So the text says, from the sphere of emptiness, the aspect of the tone of the mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum, resounds, pervading the realm of space. Okay. So here, right, still no kind of visual forms are there, but you meditate, just like the sound, Om Mani Padme Hum, which is the mantra of the deity we're to be meditating on, Avalokiteshvara, that's filling the realm of space. Okay. So this is the first conventional phenomena that appears after our meditation on emptiness. Okay. So it's good to keep in mind, that even though this mantra is now pervading space, the mantra still is empty of inherent existence, right? We've purified it all. Purified everything into emptiness means we've let go of our adherence to true existence, inherent existence. But it's like, I don't want to say it is, I'm going to say it's like, then from this realization, everything then is arising. Okay. It's like a wave coming from the ocean, right? So the ultimate nature is still the same, lack of inherent existence, but now it's as if that's now manifesting in this form of the mantra. You understand? In short, no matter what we're going to be visualizing later, mantras, the deity, the mandala, we don't lose sight of emptiness. We always have that kind of in the back of the mind, that these are just, it's all the kind of play of emptiness. Okay? Now, they do say this in the text that you see, this is the sound, the deity of sound, right? So normally we think, oh, deity, oh, that's like, you know, Manjushri, that's Avalokiteshvara, it's this like person. But no, no. It's not just this kind of godlike figure with arms and legs and so forth, but that first mind, ultimate deity, the mind realizing emptiness. That's the deity. The sound in the form of the mantra, that's also the deity. Okay. Then we have the deity of syllables. So now my mind, in the aspect of the undifferentiable suchness of myself and the deity, becomes a moon mandala. So this is what we were saying, right? Your mind is not just meditating on emptiness, but it's meditating on the indifferentiable suchness of myself and the deity. Suchness is another word for emptiness. Okay. So then this becomes a moon mandala. So it's like a moon disk. Okay. Now, on top of that moon disk, that mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum, is set down having the forms of written syllable, like very pure mercury adhering to grains of gold. Okay. So we have the mantra resounding in space. Now, sorry. We think that these are like upright letters, and now if you know how they look in Tibetan, you can visualize that. If you know the Devanagari script, you can visualize that, or you can just visualize the Roman letters, Om Mani Padme Hum. Okay, so it's like in some commentaries you'll see it like it's a fusion of the sound and visual form, right? Here, that's the implication given here. The very aspect of the tone of the mantra is now taking the form of written syllables. Very pure mercury adhering to grains of gold, right? So those two things, that's, by the way, how they make statues, with how they put the gold leaf. So these two, mercury adhering to grains of gold, aspect of the mantra, then taking on these written syllables. Okay. Now, then you have then this moon disk on top of which Om Mani Padme Hum in clockwise manner. Meditate on that. Then that completely transforms. Here's the deity of form. That completely transforms into a 1,000-petaled lotus, as brilliant as refined gold, marked at the center by the mantra Om Mani Padme Hum. Okay. So now that those mantra on the moon disk, that whole thing, transform 1,000-petal lotus. Then in the center, Om Mani Padme Hum. Okay. Now, from the tips of multicolored light rays emitted from the moon, lotus, and mantra, innumerable holy bodies of the Arya of Avalokiteshvara spread out, pervading all the realms of space. Great clouds of miraculously emanated offerings are beautifully offered to the Buddhas and their children. That means bodhisattvas. Okay. So this, This style of meditation you also see in higher tantras as well. Okay. From the lotus, moon disk, and the mantra, light rays radiate out. And then on the tips of those light rays, there's a little, replica of Avalokiteshvara. And that pervades all of space. Now, it does a few things. One, makes offerings. Now, these are miraculously emanated offerings to the Buddhas, their children, means bodhisattvas. Okay. So this, again, extremely skillful means to collect merit, right? So make use of it. Whether it's mentally emanated or actually arranged, remember the merit is the same. And now we are visualizing that all of these emanated offerings are offered to all the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas. Okay? So pause, meditate. From yet another great emanated cloud, a continuous nectar of rain descends. Rain of nectar descends, extinguishing the fires and suffering of suffering of all migrators of the hells and other realms. They are satisfied with bliss and become Avalokiteshvara. So then you can think, at the tips of all these light rays is a little replica of Avalokiteshvara. These then come to rest on the crowns of all sentient beings. And you can think that then from their hearts, this nectar descends, extinguishing the fires of suffering. Okay. Now, you can do it in the commentaries. There's different ways of doing it, but you can also think that the Avalokiteshvara is also filling space from them. The continuous rain of nectar descends, and take this very literally, extinguishing the fires of suffering means in the hells, they describe there being actual fires. So you can think that these also go out. Okay. Yes. So you should purify the environment. Yes. But also on top of that, the real sort of fire of suffering is the suffering of our delusions, right? The anger in our hearts and other sentient beings' hearts. That's what causes us to burn, right? So we also think that the nectar descending also purifies the afflictions. And then here they say they're satisfied with bliss and become Avalokiteshvara. We can think that they purify all of their obscurations to liberation and enlightenment. Okay. So basically providing sentient beings everything they need. Now, in one of the commentaries, His Holiness, His Holiness describes it like this. I think it's quite nice. I'm going to read it to you now. So we imagine that from the moon and mantra letters, light rays are emitted from the points of which emerge forms of the deity to be meditated. It means Avalokiteshvara. These deities emanate clouds of offerings to the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and so forth, as well as clouds with a rain of nectar. Okay. So this is, great emanated cloud here, right? A continuous rain of nectar descends. Okay. So I had, in other ones, you'll visualize the deity on the head. Here, it seems like we're visualizing a cloud from which nectar comes. Okay. It falls on the beings in psychic existence and purifies them, giving a good body to those who need it, coolness to those with suffering from heat, warmth of the sun to those suffering with cold, food and drink to the hungry and thirsty. So that's like the Preta realms, right? And emanating to each just what he or she needs, affording beings the basis for practicing the path, as well as teachers to instruct them in the essential paths of the four truths, two truths, and so forth. They are caused to ascend the paths and attain the final happiness of Buddhahood. Okay. So basically here, remember, right? This is like us practicing our basketball shot. We're visualizing, we're giving everything that's needed to sentient beings and eliminating all their suffering. So the more vivid we can be in thinking about the particular sufferings of the hell beings, the particular sufferings of the hungry ghosts, particular sufferings of animals, particular suffering of humans, suras and asuras, then we can think they're getting everything they need, right? And then everything they need for enlightenment. So that means having access to Dharma teachings and getting these realizations. Okay. So now, see, then the light rays, along with the bodies of the deity, return and enter into one's own mind in the aspect of the moon mandala, lotus, and mantra garland. So then it's like we've emanated out, and then that all collects back in. All the sort of pure, totally purified, enlightened universe then absorbs back in to our mind that we're visualizing as the lotus and mantra. So then this then transforms into a multicolored lotus and moon seat, upon which oneself arises as Avalokiteshvara with a white colored body in the prime of youth and radiating rays of light. Okay. So let's see. Okay. This, a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? So let me try to find a picture here. Okay. You see this? More or less. Sorry, it's not a great, how to say, in terms of pixels. Let me see if I can find another. Sorry, I get a bit, okay, this one's a little bit better. 1 second. Yeah? Okay. So I'm going to continue reading from the sadhana, and then you can look at the picture as I do, right? So this transforms into a multicolored lotus and moon seat, upon which oneself arises Avalokiteshvara with a white-colored body in the prime of youth and radiating rays of light. Of the 11 faces, the root face is white, the right red, and the left green. Okay, so you see, root face is white. It should be green. Right. The right is green, not orange, and the left is red. Okay. That's the root face. Above that, the central face. Oh, what is going on here? The central face is, okay. This is not a good Well, okay, so I shouldn't say not a good tanka. This might be from another tradition. Okay, so remember at the very first page, it said this is in the tradition of Gelongma Palmo. Okay, so it could be a different tradition, but what that means, to avoid more confusion, I am going to use another version. Okay, third time's a charm, maybe. Okay, I have one more tanka on my computer and it's not the right. Okay, you get the sense. You get the sense of it. So let me go back to the just the text. Okay. So above that, the central face is green, red. Sorry. Central face is green, the right red and left white. Above that, central face is red. The red right white and left green. They'll have long narrow eyes and smiling expressions. Above these is a black wrathful face with bared fangs. Okay, so anyway, okay, Mary Ellen, how's yours? Central face. Yes, that's right. Okay, root face is white, right is green, left is red. Above is green. Yeah. Okay. So those of you who can see in the chat, Mary Ellen has a tanka that has been painted according to the specifications of the Gelongma Palmo tradition. Okay. Anyway, so here we're meditating on all these different features, right? So maybe rather than just reading it out, point is, you can, as you read through these different descriptions, in practice, you're going to try to build out your visualization in a way that okay, this is important. You'll see in the texts, right? You were trying to get what's called divine pride and clear appearance. Okay. So the divine pride is now identifying yourself with this enlightened being. Okay. And clear appearance then is to have a fully formed visualization of that deity. Now, in practice, you see all these, 1,000 arms, 11 faces, all these details. Oh, very, very, very difficult. But remember, you know how we were saying, even when we're trying to do a meditation on Lamrim, we alternate between analytic and placement meditation. Remember that? Okay. So here it's the same. We do analytic meditation on the form of a deity, means all of these particular features, okay, will build up part by part. So in practice, what we would do, we have 11 faces, okay? So first, root face, and it's good to do it in the same place as you, right? So this is now your root face. That's white. Right, that's green. Left is red. Okay. So as you're trying to build up this visualization, you might start with just the white face. You have the sense of you as Avalokiteshvara. That's the divine pride. Now, a clear appearance, you build up piece by piece, face by face, and then the various ornaments and all this, hand implements, build it up piece by piece. So yeah, they have long narrow eyes, okay. So when you go piece by piece, you're doing analytic meditation. Now later you want to then do a placement meditation. So then what you want to do is just after you've built all of this up, okay, it's very difficult at first to get a entire view, right? Entire view. So what you then do is you can just pick one small detail. And oftentimes what they say is like this place between the eyebrows where the Buddha has the what's called the urna. Then you meditate there. Okay. This is good. For instructions regarding proper ways of meditating on the deity, see Appendix 5. Let's do it. I hope it has the appendix. Yes, we do. Good. Right. Concentration meditation and stabilizing meditation. Concentration meditation, this is what I just was saying, is analytic meditation. But it contemplates successively on the 6 deities and visualizes successively, hopefully successfully, but successively, the deity's holy body, color, hand symbols, engaging in many referent objects through many aspects. Okay, so, right, this means face by face, hand implement by hand implement, building it out, even if it takes a long time. Then stabilizing meditation dwells on the holy body of the deity, contemplated with concentration by way of a single aspect, not making much analysis. So here, meditating on one point, but not thinking like, oh, it's 11 arms, or sorry, 11 faces, blah, 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 right? Okay. In order that the operation of the mind remains inside, particularly in the latter case, it is best if the meditation can be done in conjunction with stopping the vitality and exertion, or in other words, stopping the arisal and operation of the energy winds. Okay. What does that mean? So really, stopping breathing. Okay. So he's saying it's best if you stop breathing. Now, you might have heard different yoga practices where, one can hold their breath for, minutes on end, right? So even now, okay, don't do that. Don't do too much, right? Start slow, but you could try. Breathe in, and then, as you hold your breath, hold your mind on the object. Okay. So on these occasions of concentration and stabilizing, meditate vividly on the aspect of the deity, remaining free of the faults of mental sinking and excitement by way of the skill and the methods of enhancing meditative stabilization, such as mindfulness, alertness, and so forth. Mindfulness remembers the objective support, i.e. the meditation object. What that means is objective support in this case is the body of the deity, by means of tightening without losing the mode of apprehension that observes the holy body of the deity. And then just so we did another context of developing shamatha, we have alertness, and that investigates whether or not one has come under the influence of mental sinking, excitement, and so forth. Further, not viewing it as something different from oneself, train in unifying the clear visualization of oneself as the actual Arya Great Compassionate One, with an intense divine pride that thinks this is this is me. Through the clear visualization of oneself as a deity also appears as though it exists from its own side and not merely imputed there by one's mind. It is empty of existing like that. So, what does that mean? So, since we are still sentient beings, means not Buddhas, even this visualization, right, it's going to appear inherently existent. But we have to constantly remember it's like an illusion. It's like a dream. It's not existing in the way it appears. For example, although the reflection in a mirror due to the face appears as an actual face, it is empty of being an actual face. The two, appearance and emptiness, arising together is called the yoga of non-dual profundity and clarity. As this is the final object of meditation of the lower Tantra sets, practice it as much as possible. Okay, so it's the recognition, the remembrance that although it appears as being inherently existent, it doesn't exist in that way. Okay. Anyway, and then just to finish up, says such meditation on deity yoga of self-generation by way of 6 deities or 6 enlightened ones was taught by the great master Acharya Buddha Guya in his commentary on the Vidarana Tantra through citing a quotation from the extensive Vajra Vidarana Tantra. Having first performed ablution, the yogi sits on the Vajra cushion and then, with offerings and requests, meditates on 6 deities. Empty, syllable, sound, form, mudra, and sign are the 6. So this is what we mentioned last time, Kriya Tantra, doing a lot of these external sort of rituals. So ablution is bathing. So that's why in the this practice, it is recommended that one bathes before every session, at the very least, washing the face and hands and feet. Okay. So next, deity of mudra. At the crown of the central head is a white Om, throat a red Ah, at the heart blue Hung. Upon a moon mandala at the heart is a white Hri with a long vow and subsequent aspiration. So this basically okay. This is nice. I have this in relation to another. Can you see this? Okay. So what that means, this is Hri. Now, this is in reference to another deity, but this is the same syllable. Here, another Tibetan lesson for you. This is Ha. This is a Rata. Makes it Hr. Now, this makes it I, Kiku. Now, this one underneath, that's makes it the long vowel. So Hri, E, like sometimes you'll do in the morning E. So these have like a short and a long. So that's how it's visualized. You with me? That's what that means. Right. So that's what it means. Long vowel. Oh, subsequent aspiration were these 2 dots at the end. Okay. And then we say the following mantra 5 times while touching and blessing the heart, brow, throat, and tops of the right and left shoulders with one's hands in the commitment mudra of the lotus family. So here, I'm not sure if you have taken initiation into this. So, yeah, there's a certain mudra. And I have a feeling maybe if it's people haven't had initiation, it's better not to show. Okay. Then, but what you would do, you like, okay, it's not this, it's not this, but you'll do it, Om Padma. So sorry, put that heart at your heart. Om Padma Ubhavaye Soha. Om Padma Ubhavaye Soha, and you'll touch the parts. Okay. Like that. So, okay. This is some thought I have. You see, remember, we're trying to loosen our identification of ourselves as a ordinary being and strengthen the identification of ourselves with the enlightened being that we're going to become, right? But since our identification of ourselves as ordinary is so strong, we have to do this kind of more elaborate process. And so like doing the kind of physical gestures, these rituals, I was saying, that's more emphasized in the Kriya Tantra. I think this is just like to further enhance our identification. It's kind of like, in The Wizard of Oz, this just came to me. In The Wizard of Oz, the wizard gives, the what does he give? Gives like a little heart that the lion pins on, these kinds of things. But actually, it was all always there, right? Actually, very profound. It was already there in the lion, in the Tin Man, but they had to go down the Yellow Brick Road and do all this stuff, and then at the end they could think, okay, yes, now I have it, right? Because they couldn't just accept at the beginning that there was already in them, right? So it's a little bit like that for us, right? We have to go through all this elaborate ritual so that we then feel, oh yes, now I'm the deity. But it's good. It's good, right? So then deity of sign, light rays radiate from the Hri at the heart, invoking from the natural abode Aravalakhteshvara, surrounded by the entire assemblies of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So these mantras, then they're inviting the deities, and then we think with this mantra, Zahum Bamu, that all the ones that we've invited and visualized in the space in front, they become non-dual with oneself. The commitment being means they dissolve into us. And then we think, okay, again, light rays radiate from the Hri one heart, invoking the empowering deities, 5 Buddha families. With Amitabha as their principal, along with their deities, we make offerings to them, and then they give us the empowerment. And then after the empowerment, we think that our body is filled with this nectar, the water from the empowerment. Our head becomes adorned with the 5 Buddha families. And then also at our heart, on a moon cushion in one's heart is the exalted wisdom being Avalokiteshvara with a white colored holy body, 2 hands, right? Like that. Then the moon cushion at his heart is the concentration being white, free with a long vow and subsequent aspiration. Okay. And that's it. Having focused upon oneself, clearly visualizes the holy body of the deity to then meditate undistractedly upon it. It's called meditation of the deity of the sign. Okay. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to cover in, talking. And the next 2 weeks, we're going to do the actual practice. So there I will just kind of not give as much commentary and stick to the words. So we have 12 minutes. Do you guys have questions?
And I have a question. In the beginning, you were talking about initially when you're meditating on emptiness, you mentioned the 4 essentials. I'm not sure I know what you mean.
Oh, yes. You might know it from a different name. 4 essentials is the Neji. It's the one in Liberation of the Palm of Your Hand. Identifying the object of negation, asserting the pervasion, determining non-inherent oneness, and then determining not inherent difference. That's one of the reasonings used to meditate on emptiness. 4 essential points. Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow. You guys are so expert. Okay. Shanti's in Copan. Otherwise, she would have a question, I guarantee. Okay. So I'll mention something. Because this is good knowledge to have. So we were talking before about how the Vajrayana is the quick path. And why are we saying that? So in part, we're saying, remember, our bodhisattva in meditative equipoise on emptiness, no conventional phenomena are appearing. When they arise from the meditation, then again, the conventional phenomena appear, which is why you see these terms, space-like equipoise, because it's like space in equipoise, no conventional phenomena, therefore like space. And then dream-like subsequent, J-top, subsequent attainment. The dream-like subsequent attainment means when they arise from the meditation, because they realize the non-inherent existence of all phenomena, when it appears again, they're able to recognize it's like an illusion or like a dream. Okay. Heard those terms before, right? So the bodhisattva, subsequent, dream-like attainment. Okay. So in that, after arising from the meditation, then they do the actions to accumulate the merit, generosity, and so forth. Okay. So the mind of emptiness on the ultimate level and the mind of the conventional, making offerings and adhering to morality and so forth, those are separate. They're not practiced at the same time. But here, one of the main reasons for the profundity of Tantra is that in one mind, one can practice the accumulation of merit and the transcendental wisdom. How is that done? So, oh, okay. So you have the factor of wisdom and compassion in one consciousness at one time, because you have one, they call it the ascertainment factor, realizes the emptiness of inherent existence, while the appearance factor appears in an ideal, compassionate form, acting to benefit sentient beings. Remember how I was saying we have the ultimate deity, and don't forget that. Maintain that awareness of emptiness throughout the whole rest of the visualization. So it's like while appearing empty. Yeah. Now, of course, in practice, since we don't really have the realization of emptiness, remember, we're doing this on the path of imagination still, but it's okay. It's okay. So, yeah. Any questions?
I have one that's a little off topic, but it's relevant. You mentioned the illusion, like after the yogi comes out of the meditation. That brings to mind a persistent question I've had about a line in the King of Prayers in the FPMT Gold Book. It goes, in one instant, I shall see all those awakened beings, past, present, and future, lions among humans, and with the power of illusion-like stabilization, I will constantly engage in their inconceivable activity. The illusion-like stabilization, is that a reference to someone who hasn't had a direct realization of emptiness coming out of that meditation, or is it a reference to the Prasangika view that even the perfections are illusion-like? Sorry, you don't have to answer that, but a good one to.
No, it's a good question, of course. Yeah, I'm trying to pull it up here. Okay.
If you have the Gold Book,
Yeah,
it's
I got it.
50.
So this is what she's referring to.
Yeah.
In one instant, I shall see all those awakened beings, past, present, future, lying among humans, with the power of the illusion-like stabilization. I'll constantly engage in their inconceivable activity. So to give you an accurate answer, I'm going to have to consult a commentary on the King of Prayers. Now, my little bit educated guess, see, this is a prayer made by a bodhisattva. Okay, so they're not yet enlightened, but well, Samantabhadra took the aspect of being a 10th ground bodhisattva, so he is an Arya bodhisattva. So just because one isn't a Buddha engage in their inconceivable activity, you could still be engaging in the activities of Buddhas, even though you're not a Buddha, right? You can benefit sentient beings. That's what Buddhas do. Okay. So my guess is that this is meaning he is in the post-meditative equipoise state where he's viewing all phenomena as dreamlike. Although they're like a dream, he's still then the dreamlike samadhabhadra is benefiting dreamlike or illusion-like sentient beings by giving them, dreamlike food and all these things. That's what I think it means. But I'll look at a commentary.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wondered, since if the wording, because illusion-like stabilization, is that referring to all of the paramitas being illusion-like?
Yeah. So I'll have to look at it. It could be a thing with the translation, because even this, how it is, right? Does it mean it's a stabilization on the illusion-like nature of all phenomena, or is the stabilization itself illusion-like? So
Yeah.
I think it's the former. This educated guess, because this is the thing, right? Arya Bodhisattvas, they are like having to think this way, right? Although sentient beings are, inherently, not inherently existent, they're conventionally existent, they're conventionally suffering. I'm going to eliminate their conventional suffering. That's what I think.
Thank you.
Okay. So maybe we leave it at that. And so let's just dedicate quickly. So please think that due to all this merit that we've accumulated, may all sentient beings, vast of space, quickly attain the state of enlightenment, beyond all samsaric suffering. And for that to happen, may all the sentient beings generate the mind of bodhicitta, and thereby may all of their actions be only most beneficial for others. May the holy gurus, particularly His Holiness Dalai Lama, have long and stable lives and continue to benefit sentient beings through their teaching and presence. May those beings who have recently, those great beings who have recently passed away, particularly Lam Zopa Rinpoche and Geshe Chima Setting, may they again manifest in this world and offer a most benefit for sentient beings in the teaching of Buddha. And then all the proximate causes for suffering in the world due to environmental degradation, war, economic problems, all the causes of suffering of body and mind, may they instantly be pacified in this and all the world systems of the 10 directions. Okay. So thank you very much. Yeah. I'll have a think about how we're going to spend our next 2 weeks, but I think we'll do the Nune Sadhana in full. Maybe not doing the 8 Mahayana precepts, but yeah, let's see. At the very least, we'll do major sections of it, because it's a very nice practice. Okay. So thank you very much. We'll see you next week.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Yeah, bye.